ተወዳጅ ሚዲያና ኮሙኒኬሽን
የበኩር ልጃቸው ኢንጂነር አንድነት ተረፈ ራስወርቅ መጥቶ የቤተሰባቸው መልዕክት ያስተላልፍናል። አመሰግናለሁ።
ዋው very emotional። ተነስተኛ አንድነት ተረፈ ባላለው ኢንጂነር አንድነት ተረፈ አጠገቤ እህቴ ኢንጂነር መራይ እና በዚህ በኩል ደግሞ ወንድሜ ኢንጂነር ዛና እንግዲህ በእናታችን ስም ነው የምንናገረው። በእናታችንና በሌሎች እዚህ ያልመጡት ወገኖቻችን፣ እህቶቻችን፣ ወንድሞቻችን እዚህ ያልሆኑ እንግዲህ በአማርኛ ነው እንግዲህ ትንሽ መጀመሪያው ትንሽ ቆይቼ ግን የግድ ወደ እንግሊዝኛ ስዊች ማድረግ አለብኝ። አንደኛ ነገር የውጭ ሀገር እንግዳዎች አሉ። ሁለተኛ ነገር ደግሞ አማርኛዬ የ7 ዓመት ልጅ አማርኛ ነው። እንግዲህ እንኳን ደህና መጣችሁ በሁላችን ስም። ይሄ ትልቅ ዝግጅት ያደረግነውን እንግዲህ መጀመሪያ የራስወርቅ የተረፈ ራስወርቅ ልጆች ምን እንደሰራ ምን ደግሞ እንደገባን እንደተረዳነው ለማከፋፈል ነው። ሁለተኛ ነገር ደግሞ ወደፊት እንግዲህ አሁን ያየነው ወደ ኋላ እና እስካሁን ድረስ ያስገባን ነገር ነው። ከዚህ ደግሞ ወደፊት የምናደርገውን ትንሽ ማካፈል ፈልገን So I will quickly translate what I just said. I'm Andነት. I have had the fortune of studying electrical engineering just like my father in UCLA in California, in the US just like my father, with an MBA for a school in INSEAD in France, and have gone on to become an entrepreneur. Right now working in industry in Switzerland, having passed through satellite telecommunications, software developments, and other activities in other countries other than Ethiopia for now. Ezana, who is my younger brother, 3 years younger, is a bright young man, industrial engineer from Stanford University, the likes of Google, Microsoft, and others, and developing relatively successful businesses despite the challenges in Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Ghana, Nigeria. I will not go on. Mara, who is also an engineer, an industrial materials engineer from Brown University, also went to INSEAD to get her MBA, and has worked in large multinationals, one of the big 4 companies, A.T. Kearney, and then went on to co-found Efficio, a consulting company in the procurement sector, which has now become the largest consulting company working on procurement in the world, together with her husband, Jens, who is our brother back there, who is here just for this event, and obviously not to gloat about their success, but that's what Tarafa Raswork has left behind. My mother, who's a partner in developing the family together, from whom we also derive, has become a pillar in our lives, and who is part of what we look at as we move forward. Sitting here, I invite her to make a couple of statements if she's open, but she has been more or less the fighter of more the human side of our family. Not to say that my father was not the human side, but the human side and fighting for the human rights, the rights of women and children around the world, and has balanced out, in some ways, has been the yin to his yang in making let's say, our venture, collective venture, balanced and equitable. So why are we here? We're here to share not only the past and what we've been hearing about from our parents over and over again, but also to expose to you some of the things that we've decided to share in the future. ለምንድነው እዚህ ያለነው ከእናትና አባቶቻችን የሰማነው መልእክት እስካሁን ድረስ ለማካፈል፣ ሁለተኛ ነገር ደግሞ ወደፊት የምናደርገው ነገር ትንሽ ለማስረዳት። አንዳንዱ ነገር ኦልሬዲ በግብዣ ወረቀት ላይ ትንሽ ተፈጽሟል። እሱን ከእናንተ ጋር በእውነት በእርግጥ ማካፈል ፈልገን ነው። ምንድነው ከእናትና አባታችን በየጊዜው የሰማነው? አገራችሁን እንዳትረሱ፣ ፍቅር፣ የሀገር ፍቅር። ሁለተኛ ነገር ደግሞ ምንም አድቨርሲቲ ቢኖርም ታግራችሁ አሸንፉ፣ ማሸነፍ አለባችሁ። ሶስተኛ ነገር ደግሞ አብራችሁ የኛን ሀሳብ መቀጠል አለባችሁ። አሁን የተመሰረተውን ነገር ሁሉ ወደፊት ማካሄድ ይኖርባችኋል ነው እንግዲህ እንትን የሰማነው። So once again, what we're here to do is basically communicate the key messages that we've heard from our parents, both mother and father, and that is to say that what you should not forget, despite the fact that you've grown up most of your life in Switzerland and elsewhere, is don't forget your country, Ethiopia. Make sure that whatever you do, you have an eye on Ethiopia, which we promise that we will, and we're demonstrating that we will. But also, don't be afraid to make a difference, make an impact, improving the conditions. And at the same time, as you look forward, not only do you continue what we've started here, but at the same time work together to make it happen. And what we've decided to do is organize, in some ways, these thoughts, this vision, in the context of an organizational entity called the Raswurk Foundation, and that is what we'll be leveraging off of to be able to make what we think is appropriate impact and differences moving forward. So, is anything that I said, controversial, or you guys think it's okay? You're in agreement? Okay. So, as the first order of business, as far as moving forward is concerned, what we'd like to do is make a contribution. And for this, let us describe a little bit what the contribution is in the form of this famous teleprinter. In the 1960s, the intellectual property of this teleprinter was developed by my father in a bit of a rebellious fashion. This is, as I said before, the time that Ethiopia had its own font form of communication. Most of the, I don't know if many of you were not born then, but I guess we were born then. The communications was happening mainly by telex and the telegraph when it came to text. Telex and telegraph basically being the form of a typewriter on one end, sending a message electronically, and then it types out what it says on the other end. The fonts used then, the characters were all Latin. Of course, it was not very convenient if you want to pass on information where it was not clear how to write your own language in Latin characters. Like the Ethiopian characters, like my father says, the Ethiopic characters are much more versatile, and it's much clearer when you read it on the other end if you write in your own language. So one had to use the existing technology. So Siemens had this fantastic machine called the Teletype 1000. That was the highest volume selling teleprinter. That at that time was was being sold only in Latin characters. And he went on to develop through CCITT code, which was the precursor to Unicode. I don't know if anybody guys know this, but this also became the way in which font today by Microsoft, Google, and so on and so forth tend to be writing an Amharic font was developed. So that was what was invented there. So today what I'd like to do is donate on behalf of the family this teleprinter, the seated here, to the Ethiopian Heritage Foundation, as it is, with the display, with the commentary, the patent, and so on.
እሺ አመሰግናለሁ አንድነትን ይህንን የፓተንት ዶክመንትና እቃውን ቴሌፕሪንተሩን ለመረከብ የኢትዮጵያ ቅርስና ጥናት ኤጀንሲ ዋና ዳይሬክተር ረዳት ፕሮፌሰር አበባው አያሌውን ወደዚህ ጋብዛለሁ። የዛሬ ክብር እንግዳችን አሁን መጥተው እንዲቀበሉ
ታሪኮን መጻፍ ፈልገው ጊዜ አጠሮ አይጨነቁ። ከርሶ ጋር በመነጋገር አንዳችም ሳይዛነፍ ታሪኮን ጽፈን ቢፈልጉ በመጻፍ ቢፈልጉ በድምጽ አሊያም በቪዲዮ ለትውልድ እናደርስሎታለን። በእውቀት ተደግፈን ታሪክን ለትውልድ ስናስተላልፍ 17 ዓመት ሞላን። በርካታ የድምጽና ምስል ክምችቶችን ይዘናል። ይደውሉልን። ተወዳጅ ሚዲያና ኮሙኒኬሽን ከተማና ገጠር ሳንወሰን ማንበብ ለሚችሉም ለማይችሉም ዕውቀትን እናደርሳለን። አሳታሚና ኤክስኪዩቲቭ ፕሮዲውሰር እዝራ እጅጉ። ተወዳጅ ሚዲያና ኮሙኒኬሽን በ0911 416678 ይደውሉ። ተወዳጅ ሚዲያና ኮሙኒኬሽን